How's everyone? Oh, there you go. Can I first say go Eagles go? Can I say that?
Yes.
And I'm not just talking about Philly Eagles. I'm talking about Winslow Township Eagles, who on next Wednesday, the 4th, will be traveling to Rutgers to play in the state championship game. I just thought I'd let you know that. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, go Eagles go. Welcome to the Winslow Township Board of Education. Our regular meeting today is Tuesday, November 26, 2024. Public notice of this meeting was given to all board members and associates in a notice dated August 30th, 2024. Adequate and electronic notice of this public meeting has been provided, specifying the time, place, and manner in which this meeting is being conducted. It was advertised in the Courier Post, posted in all schools, the administration building, the municipal building, the library, the Bud Dubel Center, Edgewood Acres, Elmtown, and the Winslow Township Post Offices. And this is our mission statement. The mission of the Winslow Township School District, a large, diverse, and growing community, is to educate all of our students to become independent, lifelong learners, critical thinkers, and caring and confident members of their community. The district, in partnership with the community and in a climate of cooperation and mutual respect, will provide an academic environment which values excellence and diversity, encourages all students to strive for personal excellence, and assist them in acquiring the knowledge, the skills, and the attitudes necessary to contribute positively to a rapidly changing world. Roll call, please.
Mr. Askew. Present. Mr. Chester.
Present.
Ms. Dredden.
Ms. Dredden will be absent this evening.
Thank you. Ms. Martin. Present. Ms. Nieves. Present. Ms. Peterson. Present. Mr. Shaw.
Present.
Mr. Thomas.
Waiting to hear from Mr. Thomas.
And Ms. Pitts.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2024-2025 district goals. 1, student achievement. Continue to implement best practices for delivering instruction to students. This shall include conduct weekly administrative walkthroughs to monitor teaching and learning, consistently review student assessment data to guide and redirect training or teaching, continue to provide supplemental activities, i.e. tutoring, enrichment periods to address student deficiencies. Benchmark assessment for 9th grade math language arts. 2, create a safe and positive learning environment for students and staff. Strictly enforce the district's student code of conduct. Focus on upper elementary students to modify student behavior in the early grades. Reinforce positive behavior in a specific and genuine way. Approach discipline with care, respect, and the desire to see the good in all students. Number 3, increase parent, caregiver, and community engagement in education. Provide opportunities for two-way communication with district stakeholders. Continue with Communications Consortium. Focus on refining our communication methods and messages to better market our schools. And continue with our public relations with the community.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Moving now, Dr. Carcamo. Board members, as you see, we have presentation, and when School 3 does their presentation, we will get up and take our seats in the front.
So this evening, we have School 3 who will be performing for us. Ms. Ford, Ms. Floyd, are you ready to bring your students in? Okay. So board members, can we move to the front row?
Good evening, everyone. Like this fish, we'll try that again. Good evening, everyone. That's wonderful. My name is Mrs. Wilbur Floyd. I'm the proud principal of Winslow Township School number 3. And I would like to thank Ashley Parkland, our board president, Ms. Fish, and board members, and of course, our family and friends, and our students for coming out tonight to be a part of our presentation. This is my favorite time of the year. It's a time when we can thank and count our blessings. And I'm just going to share with you real quick the definition that I found about for thankful. And it was the best one I saw. I liked it a lot. It said, being aware or conscious of the benefits that you receive. So as we go into Thanksgiving season, just count your blessings. And I have Mrs. Lake, who is coming forward. She's our music. Ms. Lake comes with 19 years of experience. She loves music, she loves children, and she's really worked hard with the students. So I'm going to have her come out, she's going to share, and the children will be starting. So thank you so much. And she's so dedicated, she's on a wheel. But she's here and she's present. So thank you.
Everybody slide down, back row. Front row, side. Back row, slide down. That's okay, we switch sides. On your back row, please move down more. One more window. One more window. All right. Now, you have a window? 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 Come here, come here. Did you see that? Good. Did you see that? Did you see that with us? Would you please look behind me? Good.
Thank you, Mrs. Floyd. I apologize, I'm on a scooter tonight, dealing with my leg. Good evening, and thank you to Dr. Karamo and Ms. Pitts, the school board members, school faculty, community members, and all of our families here tonight. I am Mrs. Lake. I am the music teacher at School 3, and I am delighted to share a musical offering from our talented third graders for your Thanksgiving meeting. I have with me tonight a few of our third grade students from a couple different homerooms. The students will present 3 songs. They are about the attitude of gratitude, the importance of giving thanks for all of the blessings that we have in our lives, our friends, and our family. First song. Our first song was inspired by a wise proverb from the House of People of Western Africa. It says, give thanks for a little and you will find a lot. This song reminds us that gratitude, even for the smallest things, can lead to great joy in your life. Ready, everyone?
Attitude of gratitude.
tall and proud in front of you, these third graders. I'm so proud of them. Our second song. Next, we will hear a bilingual song. This song blends Spanish and English lyrics in a celebration of unity and wholeness. Please enjoy Demos y Gracias. Boys and girls, sing to the back wall. Make sure that they see you smile and they hear your heart in your songs. Rock your body, just let it come. Rock your body, just let it be. Ready? Go.
Give thanks. Now's the time to give thanks. Demos gracias.
Por las bendiciones.
Por las bendiciones, for all our blessings, for nuestros amigos, for all our families, for nuestros amigos, for all our friends. Now the time to give thanks. Give thanks. Now the time to give thanks. Demos gracias. Las flores de gracias. Por las bendiciones, por all our blessings, por nuestros amigos, for all our families, for nuestros amigos, for all our friends. Now's the time to give thanks. God flores de gracias.
Please take another bow. We only get 3 songs. Our last song is an upbeat and beautiful reminder that no matter how tough some moments in life might feel, we all have something to be thankful for, and we can find the silver lining. It speaks about kindness, generosity, and the power of love, family, and community. This is called We've Got a Lot to Be Thankful For. Everybody, this is your chance to move your body, clap your hands, have some fun. Let it go, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. You ready? All right, here we go. Sing to the back wall, let them hear you. And everybody.
Everybody gets a heart.
Good.
Everybody gets a soul.
Come on.
Everybody gets a mind.
Let's do it. Tell the story.
Let them know that we can be smart, that we can be kind, that we can be living by giving and loving all the time. So on the days when it's feeling tough and it seems like you don't have enough, well, let's be grateful for our friends and family and grateful for the air that we breathe and
Okay, go down one more time. And stand up smiling. All right, thank you. Let's give one more big round of applause to our third graders. Their hard work has really paid off. This is a once-a-week class that we meet for music, and we have so many kids up here today that are just sharing so much joy and love. They have showed us the power of gratitude and the joy it brings. Thank you again to our amazing students and to their families. Thank you again to our school board members and to Mrs. Floyd. Thank you to Mrs. Logan for helping out tonight. And everyone that was supporting these young voices, thank you again to all of you. We wish you a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Thank you. One more bow. One more bow. All right, front row. Happy Thanksgiving.
For all family members, if you would like to, you can meet the children right here in the back. And let's just stand for the whole meeting.
Very nice. Very nice. I didn't know what was going on. Okay. You're too excited about the game. All right. Very good. Nice, nice.
Okay, again, many thanks to School 3, Ms. Lake, and the great job that the students did. So board members, we're returning to our agenda. I'm on the top of page 2. Would there be any correspondence?
No correspondence this evening, Madam President?
Thank you, Ms. Boyle. Board members, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve the minutes from our meeting of Wednesday, November 13th, 2024, open session. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve our meeting minutes from our regular meeting on Wednesday, November 13th, 2024, open session.
Moved by Mr. Shaw, second by Mr. Askew. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Askew? Mr. Chester?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Nieves?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
And Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you. Moving now, board members. We're going through our board committee reports. Is there anyone from the athletic committee? I see our chairman, Mr. Thomas, is not in attendance. Would there be anyone else from the athletic committee? Okay, we'll move on. Citizens Advisory Committee, would be a report out of the Citizens Advisory Committee at this
Yes, I
time?
believe there is a report out of the Citizens Advisory. Ms. Claude?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
That was a great presentation, as a matter of fact. Thank you, Mrs. Floyd, and parents and students. The Winslow Township Citizens Advisory Committee met on November 14th. The CAC, November 14th in the District Administration Building. In attendance was faithful, Wanda God, May Hogan, Marcy Tomasello, and Board Liaison Rita Martin. Old business, grandparents program. Through these minutes, the CAC is recommending to the board that they review the policy 9180, who volunteers, and revise. It is necessary to allow for the grandparents intergenerational program that we recommend be adopted by the school board as soon as feasible. Parent advisory group, it was brought to the attention by the CAC member that another organization is forming a group for the township. Therefore, the group has suspended our efforts on that topic. New business, teacher retention discussion was held at the district. What is the district trying to do to retain teaching staff? Quality at the Board of Education meetings. The sound quality at the Board of Education meetings continue to be an issue of being inconsistent. When parents are listening to it at home, they're still unable to hear the board members and the parents and the audience that come up to the microphone. So the board, the CAC, is recommending that we have the TV production students use their equipment and expertise at the administration building when the meetings are scheduled. We further recommend that the students receive stipend or hours spent for service hours. 2025 CAC membership. Rita informed the CAC members that they are being recommended to retain membership of the CAC for another year. The meeting was adjourned at 9:05 p.m. So the two recommendations that we did bring to the board tonight is the grandparents program. As we previously mentioned before in past meetings, that we weren't going to bring it back up to the board until we did a little bit more research. Our research that we did find was that the Winslow Township currently did have a policy in place, which is policy number 9180. And we asked that the policy board revisit that in the next policy board meeting to try to bring into the grandparents program. Being as though that we are having a teacher shortage in Winslow Township, I think that would be a perfect program to bring into our school district, to have volunteers from our community. And it does offer inside of that program that background checks and fingerprints are required, and how the district chooses to handle that, whether the volunteers pay for it or the district handles it. In the policy, the district is handling it, but if they choose to update the policy where it is the volunteers that do it, then that's how the policy can be updated. But being as though there is a policy already in place, we ask that you look at that policy and we try to move forward and try to do something to rectify this and see if we can look into that program that we requested for the last couple of meetings. And as far as the meetings, we do ask for the audience that is looking on YouTube, trying to be participants watching the meetings when they're unable to hear what's going on in the meetings because they can't be here personally. It is an injustice to our community that they cannot understand what is being said at the board meetings. That we try to fix this audio so that they can hear. This has been an ongoing problem for a long time, so we can try to look to see how we can rectify that. Like I said, the CAC did recommend that possibly the students, they seem to do a great job with their audio. They have no problem when they're going there and screaming. That's not a possibility that you all will look into. Maybe you can figure it out with your technical department and see if we can try to figure out the issues that we're having with the audio on our meetings. Because it is live stream, so not just our community is watching our board meetings, but people outside of Winslow Township, because we don't want to look like a township that is insufficient in being able to broadcast our board meetings. That concludes our opinions for Winslow Township. Do you have any questions for me?
No questions for you. However, with regards to the recommendations, if you could recall, when you first brought that, I believe it was last month in October. And at that time, Dr. Poteet indicated that that is not a recommendation that he would consider, and he gave the reasons. He was saying certainly because that center just opened in September, and with the principal having to get acclimated. And I just wanted to remind the CAC that Dr. Potito in his recommendation is saying not at this time. And so therefore, we will stand on his recommendation.
So what I'm saying to you is that there is a volunteer program that's already, a policy that's already in place for Winslow Township. We're asking to activate that policy.
I understand, and I know I'm familiar with that policy. However, that policy is a mandated policy, of course, and is very well written, and it has safeguards in it. That's a very good, strong policy. And so there really is, again, based on Dr. Potteet's recommendation, there's no need to revisit that policy in order to allow for this, the recommendation of the grandparent program that you want to, that you're recommending. But again, as you know, as the CAC, we do not have to accept all recommendations. And again, at the last meeting, Ms. Gloyd.
I'm not trying to debate with you, and like I just said, I recommended it to you.
Mhm.
I asked that you all look at the policy. You haven't even looked at the policy, and you're saying right now, no. So, and like I said, with Dr. Potteet, he's not here right now to speak on it, and I just brought it back to you. I brought up the policy. Yes, before I did not have the policy to present, and I told Dr. Potteet at that time when I had no information that I would re-present it as well, and I'm re-presenting it. So, and I'll just ask you guys to look into it. Dr. Potteet did bring up a new information last board meeting, saying that we did have a teacher shortage, and because we do have a teacher shortage, we do have an issue in classrooms, especially in a lot of our elementary schools, where your teachers do need help inside those classrooms. And this could be something that could help these teachers. It could help their mental health of our teachers. And we're just trying, as a community, trying to come forward to help our teachers. And if you all aren't willing to even look into it, to consider it, how we can make sure well-being of our teachers are being looked at in paramount, and number one, to make sure that we can even retain our teachers, to make sure their mental health is number one, that they have enough support in those classrooms with the situations that they're experiencing in those classrooms. I'm hearing a lot of horror stories from a lot of the situations that go on in these classrooms, especially in the elementary. They could use a little bit of aid. So we can kind of maybe just do a little research. And I'm not saying you have to approve it tonight, but just do a little research before you say no. And then if the research comes back where it's conclusive that we definitely don't need it, even with our teacher shortage and our teachers' mental health is perfectly fine, they don't need no extra hands, extra people helping them in their classrooms, then we'll stand corrected, we'll stand quiet, and we'll leave it alone. Just ask you look into it.
Ms. Gloyd, again, I stand on when you first brought that with Dr. Potteet's response to you, and I think you're kind of mixing two things. This grandparent program, as you spoke about it, with regards to a teacher shortage, this is a volunteer, they're not teachers. So those are two separate things. And believe me, I have read that policy, the volunteer policy, so I'm familiar with it. But we will close this by saying that Dr. Potteet is not recommending that. But thank you very much.
Ms. Claude, I did have one. I heard you briefly mention the 2025 CAC. Now, I saw what was put out by the district in regards to applications for 2025, but it was a little confusing to me. It's saying that applications were not being accepted, but those individuals who wanted to participate would submit their name to the school board office?
So, you actually have to speak with Ms. Martin or Ms. Pitts in regards to the CAC and how that's being operated this year. I have no idea what they're doing with the CAC in 2025. So maybe they can answer that question for you. I cannot.
With regards to the CAC, what is being done this year is that the application process is simply being suspended. So that because we did not, as a board, we were not able to meet the time span in which we had set in order to accept applications. And so therefore, with regards to those who are presently members of the CAC will remain, And if anyone in the community, anyone else is interested, just simply let us know, because we're not going through the interview and that whole process. That process simply has been suspended. That's all. And as a way of opening it up without having interested folks going through so many steps, that's all. That's all we're doing. So people can send in, they can give us the information as the announcement said, their name, their address. That's what we need to receive from the individual so that we'll know who they are. Okay?
So does that mean that the board would vote on those people or anybody would be accepted?
What that means is that once we find out who has stepped forward to make sure that they are residents, as I said, the voting that has taken place in the past, that whole procedure has been simply suspended for this year. And so therefore, it actually, makes it, I think, really just easier for folks who are interested to simply let us know that they're interested. That's all.
So as long as we can prove they're a resident, they'll be accepted?
As long as we can prove that they're residents and we know that they're ready, and when we talk to them and say to them what the commitment is, because they need to know that they're expected to meet once a month, then there's no reason why they wouldn't be accepted.
Okay, understood.
Okay, thank you. Would there be a report out of the Education Committee?
No report at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Report out of the Marketing Committee?
Yes, the marketing committee met last Wednesday at 6 p.m. via WebEx. Present were myself, Mr. Shaw, and Mr. Davis from the administrative team. We discussed constructing an SOP for the marketing committee to go into the 2025 school year. Our hope is that we work on that back and forth via email to be presented to the board at our December 11th meeting. We also had some brief discussion in regards to the continued technology challenges and with on-course and the scheduling of parent-teacher conferences. And the suggestion was made similar to how we contracted the Public Relations Consortium, that maybe we should contract a technology consultation to see if we can't work out some of these issues. And the meeting adjourned at 6:40.
Thank you, Ms. Nieves. Any questions or comments with regard to the Marketing Committee report? Hearing none, moving now, Operations Committee. Is there a report out of the Operations Committee?
Yes, Madam President. I'm going to report out on behalf of Ms. Stredden, since she's not here. The Operations Committee met at 5:30 yesterday, Monday, November 25th, via WebEx. In attendance were Ms. Stredden, Mr. Shaw, Ms. Boyle, and Ms. Chico. Also in attendance were Luis Rosario, Tom Andres, Michael Wanzi, and Adam Caravalia of EI Associates, who are the district-appointed architects. The following items were discussed. We ran through a couple of the open projects that we had from the prior years. So the 21-22 School 6 main office HVAC replacement, that project has been closed out. Other capital projects, the circulation pumps at 1, 2, 3, 4, and the middle school, they're at the punch list item stage, and it's projected that this project will be closed out prior to December 31st. The middle school facade repairs and painting, that project has been completed. School fine, there were 3 new exterior doors for the gym that were delivered and installed. So that total project is also complete. We had at the high school replacement of lockers in the visitor locker room. That project is also complete. Ms. Chico gave us an update on the budget development process for 25-26. We're scheduling flat funding, meaning we're not anticipating any additional state aid. One of the complications we'll be facing this year are unit negotiations, our teachers and administrators. We don't have a settled, we won't have a settled contract as of that year. We are just starting, so we don't know what the increase will be. So we pretty much work it out. So, but We're also scheduling an additional HVAC system upgrade that's going to be included, and the fundings were going to be from capital reserves, so we're not going to go out for any tax levy increase. And then the budgeted amounts for each of the schools will be sent to the building principals this week. That would be tomorrow. The high school HVA system upgrade, that bid needs to be revised before being resubmitted to the Office of the State Comptroller. We're trying to work with Land on that. And EI Associates provided an update on the budgeted capital and other projects. So we had a lengthy discussion on the budgets and timetables for 5 and 6. We discussed the construction of a pole barn for the athletics at the high school. On tonight's agenda, we're going, or addendum, the balance of EI fees for these projects are going to be presented for approval tonight. And we also discussed the remaining projects and timeframe for the other 2 projects that were in this budget, but we haven't kicked off yet. And that's the grease trap replacements at schools 1 through 6 and the roof replacement at the administration building. I think I omitted the roof replacement at J Hall, the J wing of the high school. That's also under consideration. We just had to price out some items. Our meeting adjourned at 7:03, and the next scheduled meeting is Tuesday, December 10th.
Thank you, Ms. Gould. Any comments or questions on that report? Moving now to the policy committee. The policy committee will meet at our very last meeting, which will be December 11th. And I'll check with Mr. Davis to make sure to see if any new policies have come down. Moving now, board members, I'm at the top of page 3. At this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve the superintendent's report that begins at the top of page 3 and continues through to the top of page 8. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the superintendent's report.
Second the motion.
Moved by Mr. Shaw, second by Mr. Askew. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Mr. Chester,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Nieves,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes, and I abstain myself from item 25 and 26 on page 7 because I'm a member of both organizations.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Bull. Moving now, I'm asking for a motion at this time to approve the Business Administrative Board Secretary's report as it begins in the middle of page 8 and continues through to the bottom of page 12. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the board secretary's report.
Second the motion.
Moved by Mr. Shaw, second by Mr. Askew. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Mr. Chester,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Nieves,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes,
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
The motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Bull. Now moving, board members, I'm at the top of page 13. I'm asking for a motion to approve the personnel report as it begins at the top of page 13 and continues through to the middle of page 16. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the personnel report.
Second the motion.
Moved by Mr. Shaw, second by Mr. Askew. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Mr. Chester,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Nieves,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
yes,
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Boyle. Board members, at this time, we're moving to our addendum, and I believe we all have it in our brown folders, and I feel certain that we've had an opportunity to read it through. So at this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve the superintendent's report as it appears on our addendum, page 1 letter A. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the superintendent's report as it reads on the addendum.
Second the motion.
Moved by Mr. Shaw, second by Mr. Askew. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Mr. Chester, Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Nieves,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Boyle. At this time, board members, still on our addendum, I'm asking for a motion to approve the board secretary's report as it appears on our addendum, beginning at the middle of page 1 and continuing through to the bottom of page 5. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the board secretary's report as it appears on the addendum.
Second the motion.
Moved by Mr. Shaw, second by Mr. Askew. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Mr. Chester, Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Nieves,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Boyle. Moving now, board members, I'm back on our regular agenda, page 17. I'm looking at the Open Public Records Act request. Ms. Boyle?
Yes, Madam President, between November 6th and November 20th, we responded to, I believe, 3 open requests. The first was from Ms. Lumnog from Deltec Inc., which requested for us to provide information relating to the solicitation below, which was the solicitation for an architect that it's really an RFP 2024-06, and the due date was May 2nd, 2024. They wanted to the contract number, the vendor name, the vendor's address, the vendor's phone number, the award amount, date, start date, end date, contract terms, and contract documents. Those documents which existed were supplied. Second request came from Michael Gottsman, founder of New Jersey Public Education Coalition. That the request for was for the copy of the curriculum implemented in your district to comply with the Laura Wooten's law. That document or those documents were provided and sent. And then the third one came from Mr. Christopher Cantoni. He wanted an electronic copy of all payment transactions for Winslow Township schools for fiscal year 2023 through 2024. Those documents were compiled and sent.
So that's completed?
And that completes it.
Thank you, Ms. Bull. Moving now to our informational items. Dr. Corcomer, would you have any information?
Not at this time, Mr. Smith.
Thank you. Moving now, board members, to old business. Board members, would there be any old business that you would care to discuss at this time? Hearing none. Moving now to new business. Board members, would there be any new business that you would care to discuss at this time? I would just like to, at this time, take a minute and thank the production that was put on by our high school drama and stage crew of It's a Wonderful Life. It ended Saturday, and it was just excellent. They did a very, very good job, and I especially like to thank, I think it's Miss Havana Hefner, who heads that up. The kids were on point. The stage crew, well, they met their cues. They were in and out. It was just a great fun, and certainly, if any of you who are here who went, I'm hoping that you would also agree with me on that.
They definitely was on point.
As Mr. Shaw will attest to.
Mhm.
In addition to that, board members, if you recall last meeting, I asked that you mark your calendars for a training session to take place next Wednesday, December 4th, at 7 p.m. That is being canceled. Why? For a very good reason. Because most of us, hopefully, will be heading towards Rutgers at that time for the championship game. So that has been canceled. I've been in contact with Terry Lewis to see if she can give us another date, and I'm waiting for her to get back to us. Okay? Now, with regards to picking up on the game, as I've had a conversation with Dr. Carcamo, and Dr. Carcamo can expound on that more, I understand that we're going to have buses, charter
So we
buses.
will have fan buses. So we will have chartered buses for the athletes, for the football players. And we will have a couple buses to take up the band, the cheerleaders, and we will have some for just fans. So we have to close this and finalize everything tomorrow morning, hopefully by 10 o'clock, so that we can get a good handle on how many fans we will have accompany the students.
Thank you, Dr. Carcamo. Now, it's my understanding also that if we're taking students up, that we're going to need chaperones. And it's my understanding that in a situation like this, for every 10 students, we need one chaperone.
That's correct.
So therefore, board members, I'm asking if any of you would be interested in being a chaperone for the game. Yes, I'm saying yes, just for me. Only for
Well,
me.
I would, I have a home up there. It's my second house. However, if you're short, I will do that.
Okay, thank you. Any other board member would want to make?
Yes, I will participate if
Okay,
needed.
thank you. And also, Dr. Carcamo, Ms. Dredden, while she's not here, I did speak to her, and she indicated that she will let you know by tomorrow. Ms. Gloward, would you come back up to the mic, please? Ms. Gloward, I'm also extending and asking if you would be able to contact your members on the CAC to share with them what we're trying to do, that we need some chaperones. I think we have, I think it's one or two, Dr. Carcamo? Possibly two positions open. And so again, because we know that what the CAC is all about and what you do, so I'm asking if CAC members, and for those of us who may not know, I just want you to know our current citizen advisory members are Christy Renzulli, Marcy Tomasello, Gregory Wake, Rosemary Hoffman, Diane McKenzie, Wanda Glaude, Meg Hogan, Jennifer Moss, Faye Crooks, and Carla Ortiz. So hopefully, Ms. Glaude, perhaps we can get one or two who would volunteer to be a chaperone.
We can get, I'm sure we'll get 2 people for you.
Okay,
Well, no more than two.
no more than two. She said 2 people, but,
Mrs. Spitz, I know that Mrs. Ortiz will not be participating.
okay, okay. Thank you, Ms. Glaude. So at this time, board members, moving now to public comments.
Thank
Mr.
you,
Long?
Madam. Thank you, Madam President. The Winslow Township Board of Education highly values the input of citizens in making the important decisions that affect the children of our community. We believe in the rights of citizens to observe board meetings, to ensure that all of our citizens have the opportunity to attend school board meetings and offer comment, and to ensure that the board can conduct the important business of the district. We ask that speakers follow the following guidelines for making public comment. The board secretary will recognize those individuals in the audience who wish to make comment. Kindly respect the following procedures. 1, all members of the public attending school board meetings must treat each other and the board with respect. 2, please state your full name and your town of residence. 3, please limit your comments to 4 minutes. 4, submit your questions to the board. In the event we're unable to answer them, and provide your name, address, and telephone number where you can be contacted, and your questions will be answered within a reasonable time frame. And lastly, individuals offering citizen comment are not permitted to make any personal attacks on any district employee, board member, other testifier, or member of the public. Thank you, Madam President.
At this time, board members, I'm asking for a motion to approve our moving into public comment portion.
Motion to move into public comments?
Moved by Mr. Shaw, second by Mr. Askew. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Thank you. Ms. Boyle?
Yes, Madam President. Andrea Dobbins.
Good evening, my name is Andrea Dobbins. I just wanted to come up here because I want to follow up on some things that are addressed before. Most important one is the crosswalks at school number 3. They're still not painted. I went to town hall, also addressed it there. They're not painted. We have people walking all the way from Hollow to the crosswalk over by hall in order to cross their children. Today, when I was leaving the school, I almost got hit by someone going 50 miles per hour. The area where the cars come out. Every other school district that has a school on a main road has present. So once again, I'm asking for you also to talk to the town so we can get police present, because there's no reason why there should be car accidents happening in the parking lot or on the Zipper Road where possibly one of our children is. Another thing I also want to address is the teacher shortage. I have come here and I've also gone to the special education group as well and told them we need to do something about our teacher shortage. My child is in the special education program. He is on the higher end of autism. He's a very intelligent child. He is not being always challenged, and I have been doing my own membership for him, which is a ton of money. We're not doing anything to enrich our kids who are highly intelligent and work in school. When I address the special education group, they tell me, well, they just don't have enough teachers. That they're in violations of over 70 Ps because we don't have enough teachers. My son's class, there's a special education teacher with another class because we don't have enough teachers. That other class, the teacher is getting ready to retire, so then I'm sure I will not have a special education teacher in my son's class. In nursing, we have a program where if you're new and you sign a contract for 2 years, that you have to be there for 2 years. That's before that you all talk to the Teachers Association in Jersey has in order to see what you can implement in the teachers. We're going to be 500 new townhomes in September. Yes. And we can't have enough teachers for the kids that we have now. How are we going to accommodate 500 plus families with more kids? And they're all going to choose no because we don't have teachers. So then we're going to do it to the tax and we're going to see the more teachers because they're dealing with a shortage and able to help. Everyone says, oh, we're doing the job. I already work full time. They work 12-hour shifts. There's nothing else they can do. Offer to volunteer, they won't let them volunteer. So unless we're going to do something to help our classrooms, I don't know what we're going to do now. And when we get this.
Thank you, Ms. Dobbins.
Mr. Gerald McManus.
Hi, my name is Jerry McManus. I'm Berlin mailing address over in Berlin mailing address. I was recently won an election for an unexpired term, and I know I was speaking with a good counselor a little bit earlier on tonight, but I just wanted to make sure, since it was an unexpired seat, that I believe I should be seated probably sooner than later. Just because I haven't received any correspondence from anybody as far as to either get myself fingerprinted, some of the other processes that are involved in being seated as a board seat. So I didn't know if this is the right forum, but I would really appreciate a little bit of guidance.
Yeah, I appreciate you reaching out, and I did speak with Mrs. Boyle about it, our business administrator and board secretary. Mrs. Boyle, on the issue with regard to doing the criminal background check, I advise Mr. McManus that once the results are certified, he's correct, he's filling in an unexpired term, he's now eligible, since it's been certified, to now request the fingerprinting and background check that's required before he can take his seat. he's entitled to take his seat as soon as that can come in. It does not have to wait to the new year because of the unexpired term. He fills it immediately upon meeting all the criteria. So can he get with you or meet with you and discuss with you how that's done?
Yes, we can send him the information. Historically, we wait until we get the certification from the state. But on Mr. Long's advice, we'll get you the information so you can start that process. And again, once you do get your fingerprinting, you can be sworn in. Our next board meeting is December 11th, so hopefully it could come in by that time. If not, we're at our reorg.
Rather than sending it to me, would you mind terribly if I showed up at the office tomorrow to pick it up?
No problem whatsoever.
Awesome. And then if I somehow can get this done more sooner than later, I believe I can volunteer to be a chaperone on that trip. Guys.
I'm too late for that.
So that'd be great. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Welcome. Okay. Devon Davis? Devin Davis? Devin.
Good evening.
Order transportation. I'm a parent, just like any other. I'm gonna go to come to school and get home. Issues that I'm having is, as far as the guideline heading that states that my daughter is not allowed to get on another bus. It's not gonna be for her coming from school. And what I'm saying is, my daughter was involved in it. And when you're home, you wind up being dropped off in the city. Or families off the bus. So the principal, I was told that my daughter should never even finish stuff on the bus. Which is understand. He needs to come from. I understand. Always do. But I wasn't notified the day of. And also, pardon me, but daughter was all up on the wrong bus. I wasn't notified like that. Right? And I'm aware of the school having to do an investigation on this incident with office school property. This incident happened off school property. My daughter is punished for this because she hopped on the bus because it didn't hurt. I'm just here as a parent. You can do better as far as transportation. That in the guideline book as far as student because if I'm sitting up there and my daughter hopped on another bus and got dropped off in Pickardville or wherever it is, and he was hurt, who does that fall for that? Who for the parent? Because my daughter is learning, he got to do it. Now, when that bell rang, that last bell rang, on that bus. Who ensures that my student gets on that bus? That's my question for you.
Well, from the board's perspective, Mr. Davis, that is something that administration has jurisdiction over. And so, Dr. Carcamo,
So,
perhaps
Mr. Davis, once a student is assigned a bus, that is the bus, the only bus that they can ride unless the administration makes a change. So for your daughter not to get on her bus and get on another bus, it was a violation because she was never assigned the second bus. Every student gets a bus assignment. At the beginning of the school year, you receive the assignment the bus that your daughter will be on. She has to be on that bus the entire year unless the administration has removed her. And with regard to dealing with things that happen after the school hours, so we are responsible for transportation to and from school. So that means that she still falls under our student code of conduct if any violation occurs. So based on what you said, and I don't know very much about the incident that you're referring to, the first violation that your daughter has is not getting on her bus. And there is a penalty associated with that. If something occurred as a result of her being in the wrong place and not getting on her bus, we are going to enforce the student code of conduct.
Y'all unfortunately got the young education, there was other parents. That's when I come.
So,
Other parents in my school, I'm not being notified, or my daughter spoke with her at the school, or this incident happened. So this was already spoken to principal and teacher about this that she can pick with or whatever it is. So I feel that they should have already raised the flag for the deal with the situation for the center. My student comes to school and says she help. I'm expecting help or do something.
Okay.
But my daughter involved in an incident, there was other parents involved, and I just feel that right is right, wrong is wrong. Yes, my daughter is wrong for hopping on another bus, but she wasn't supposed to understand that. But at the same time, the incident occurred off school property, and my daughter is penalized for it happening off school property, not the other party. So that's one reason.
I understand. So with regard to parents being involved,
Yes.
we have absolutely nothing to do with that. Something happened in your neighborhood and parent is involved, I would suggest that you call the police.
Yes.
It's not a school issue then. Our only issues that we will deal with would be that of the student.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Can't read the first initial, but the last name is Pohill.
Since the last time I was here and coming to a meeting to address some concerns.
Excuse me, what's your first initial, just for our record?
Yay.
Okay, thank you.
I want to thank you for allowing me the opportunities. I'm here today as a concerned parent regarding ongoing issues involving my son. While I appreciate the resolution of a recent incident in which my son was hit by another student, I feel it is important to highlight that the situation initially presented several discrepancies before being addressed. This raises concerns about how such incidents are handled and the consistency in ensuring the safety and well-being of the student. More recently, my son experienced an incident with a teacher that I find troubling. He was publicly humiliated in front of his peers, and even the very teacher who had been bullying him, he was taken into another classroom and asked to demonstrate his actions as a part of what the teacher described as a teachable movement. I must ask, what does the board consider such action? As a parent, I view this as a form of public shaming rather than constructive teaching. It has left my son feeling humiliated and has negatively impacted his confidence and trust in adults responsible for his education. While I understand the importance of discipline in learning moments, this approach does not align with creating a a supportive, respectful environment for students. I would like to know how the board plans to address this type of behavior by educators and what policies are in place to ensure that disciplinary actions are handled in ways that respect students' dignity. Furthermore, I seek reassurance that all students will be treated fairly and protected from further incidents of public embarrassment and humiliation. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I look forward to hearing your thoughts and seeing appropriate steps taken to ensure these issues are not repeated in the future.
Thank you, ma'am. And if I can respond briefly, because we're a bit handcuffed up here, and sometimes it looks like we don't want to respond, but we do, we just can't. For example, it would be illegal for anybody on this board to talk about a specific issue that might involve your child or any child. So we have to be very careful of what we say. So there is a chain of command that begins with the teacher in the classroom, the principal of the school, and then up through the administrative team with Dr. Clarkamo and Dr. Poteet. So it's got to go through that process, depending upon the level of discipline that's imposed, such as a long-term suspension or an expulsion. And I don't know what's going on here, and I don't want to know. Not because I don't care. I'm very sorry that you're going through this, actually. But I would encourage you, I'm not sure where you would be on the step of teacher, principal, assistant superintendent, superintendent, but that's your appropriate course under the law, because no one here can say, oh, you know what, Dr. Clarkamo, why don't you just explain to us what happened so that we know in a public forum, and then we're talking about your child. We just can't do that. And the board doesn't have the authority under the law to do that either. It's an administrative, as Dr. Clarkamo said earlier, that's an administrative issue that you can deal with at the administration. And then if there's no relief granted there, there is the possibility, depending upon what the discipline is that was rendered, for you to then appeal to the board. But we are required to do that in executive session, meaning closed session outside the public purview. So for us to say something to you, now you can go in the principal's office and schedule an appointment with Dr. Clarkamo, Dr. Poteet, when he returns, that we can have any discussion with them one-on-one. That's easy. And I would encourage you to pursue that avenue, and only when that avenue is exhausted under some circumstances can the board get specifically involved. But I'm sorry that you are going through that. I would encourage you to follow that chain of command.
I did follow it.
Okay,
The
have you?
last time I spoke with you guys, separate incidents. Well, these are new incidents.
Have you spoken to
last time-
have you spoken to the principal?
Yes, I have.
And how about Dr. Clarkamo?
Yes, I have.
And how about Dr. Poteet?
Dr. Boutique is not available.
Yeah, I'm aware
So
of that.
I've done that. So now, that's why I'm here.
Mr. Long, may I interject? I did have a conversation with Ms. Pohill, and at the time, she had not spoken with the building principal. I believe you called the building principal around 3:20 in the afternoon. She was not available, and you immediately called to the central office. And I said to you, protocol is that you speak with the building principal.
And I did-
So initially, there was no communication, there was no following the protocol.
That was what we had a meeting on Friday morning. My son missed school Thursday because he was so traumatized by what happened. So again, I'm at the board meeting because the last time that I spoke with you guys or pleaded with you guys to get some help for some resolution for my son, I'm here again because it got worse.
Well, at this time, Ms. Polhill, what I, as far as the board is concerned, as was explained, we can absolutely speak with administration. But as of right now, as far as saying to you that we can resolve the situation, because we as a board, we do not have all the facts. We cannot say that we can resolve. But what we can say as a board is that we can have, since you've gone through all the steps, that we can have, we can say to you that we can have a conversation with the administration to get the whole picture. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Madam President, that concludes those that have signed up to speak this evening.
I just have something positive to say in regards to something happening. Is that okay, Ms. Boyle? Bond God. So the Winslow Township High School football team is going to the States, but I also wanted to recognize the 10U elite football team from the Maulers is also going to nationals in Florida. They are an elite football team that's 10-year-old kids that made it to the national football team. And they're the number one in the state of New Jersey. And they're going to be playing against the number one teams and across the nation down in Florida to make it for the number one team in the United States. And my grandson and my son, well, my sons are the coaches, and my grandson is on the team as the quarterback. So I just want to let you know, it's starting from the little league all the way up to the top. So we have a lot to celebrate in Winslow Township.
Thank you, Ms. Claude. I see another hand up. If you would just come to the mic, give your name.
Sorry, didn't sign in. I'm acting up for Winslow Township.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
My name is Randy Rothmel. I am project director with a nonprofit organization called ANJAC, Association of New Jersey Environmental Commission. And I'm here tonight because I have an opportunity for the Winslow School District. One of the things that we do as a nonprofit is that we pay various grants. And we partner with a lot of organizations like Islands Preservation Alliance, there's a cooperative extension. Right now, Islands Preservation Alliance was awarded a grant through the New Jersey DEP to install green infrastructure projects in lake sheds, both in the Pinelands and in the Highlands. In the Pinelands area, those projects were going in Pemberton, Egg Harbor Township, Hamilton, and in here in Winslow. And we are looking at doing projects in the New Brooklyn Lake Shed. Two of your schools, number 3 and 6, are in that lake shed. And I'm here tonight to see if there's interest in doing this type of project. I have some handouts. I didn't make enough for everybody, but I'll pass them around.
Ma'am, if you would hand those to our board secretary, Mrs. Boyle, who is 3 down from me, she'll make sure that the board gets everything. Right down there.
I'll take that.
Okay. Thank you.
What this opportunity is I don't know if you know what green infrastructure is. Basically putting in, it's called a rain garden. And it takes stormwater runoff from the roof of a building into basically a pollinator garden, but it's made like about 3 to 6 inches down. And it's an opportunity to beautify the schools and also have, obviously, important for pollinators. And the process is for Rutgers cooperatives to come out and do an initial site visit to the schools to look to see if there's an appropriate location, and just do a walkthrough. And if the principal or is interested in going through the project, they'll then come out and do a full survey of the site, put together an engineering plan for the schools, and come back to you for approval. And any adjustments that might be made. And then we have a contractor will come out and dig out the garden, put in the soil amendment, the mulch, and then we get the students involved because we want to get them out there in the dirt, putting in the plants, which is the fun part. digging out the garden is not much fun, it's a lot of work. But putting the plants is a lot of fun, it's an educational opportunity for them to learn about what purpose of it is, and also just learn about plants and pollinators, and flowers, and then they take ownership of the garden and take care of it. But in the future, we do give support for up to a year or two afterwards to try to replant any plants that may not survive. We do give a manual to for maintenance on it. You don't just come in and put it in and go away. It also comes with a permanent sign that talks about what the garden does. The purpose of this is like, as right now, stormwater runoff goes off the building into the storm drains and out to the creek. And, you know, with all that excess water going out, although we've had a drought recently, so we haven't had a lot of rain, I'm sure we all remember when we had too much rain. It causes flooding and, you know, water quality issues. So this is a way to get the water back into the ground where it belongs.
Okay, I would say this, that we want to thank you for bringing that to our attention. And before you leave, if you could again have a brief conversation with our assistant superintendent and our BA. And I also want to state that as Winslow, as a district, we are very environmentally conscious because, as you may or may not know, Winslow in 2023 is only one of two districts nationally that has been awarded the green ribbon. So I just wanted to let you know that.
It's a part of sustainability.
Exactly, it's a part of sustainability. So we are well aware of that, and we again have been recognized for the work that we've done in that area. So again, if you would just take a few minutes once we adjourn and have a conversation with our assistant superintendent and our BA. Okay? All right.
I just want to emphasize, there's no cost to the township on this at all. It's completely covered by the grant. So
Okay.
it's kind of free money for you to get a sustainable project in the ground.
Okay. Thank you very much.
On the back of this brochure is actually some concept design that Rutgers Cooperative did put together for both Pool 3 and 6. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Is there contact information in here for us
Yes,
to?
cards.
Yes, cards.
We got you. Thank you.
Then you close public portion, then you tell me. You close public portion, then you look.
Mr. Falciani, is there anybody waiting in the waiting room?
Okay. All right, thank you. At this time, board members, I'm asking for a motion to adjourn the public comment portion of our meeting.
Motion to adjourn public comments?
Moved by Mr. Shaw, second by Mr. Askew. Our public portion has been adjourned. Moving now with regards, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Thank you. At this point, I believe we really do not have an executive session.
It's your call, Madam President. I
So-
certainly respect that, and I have nothing pending to discuss in executive session.
Thank you, Mr. Long. So
I know the
therefore,
board gets very disappointed when I say
oh,
that.
I can see the disappointment on your faces. So before, on behalf of the school board, I would like to say to the community that we wish you a very happy and blessed and bountiful Thanksgiving. And go Winslow Eagles. I'm asking for a motion. So therefore, I'm asking board members for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Moved by Mr. Shaw, second by Mr. Askew. All in favor? Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.